Why should we dehydrate food? This presentation is going to be on off-grid dehydration. I am going to mention several other ways to dehydrate, not necessarily off-grid, just because a lot of us still have power. But one of the reasons why we would dehydrate food is natural disasters. If there's a natural disaster, it could, such as an earthquake or windstorms, snowstorms, you would be without power, and your food, you could lose all your food, or even some of it. There are planned power outages now. They have brownouts and they have blackouts that have been planned, and we have been told by our government that these are coming. So that would be a reason to not have all your food in an on-grid situation, such as a freezer or a refrigerator. And another reason would be to save your food. If you have extra food, you would be able to save food from spoilage. Food prices are going up, and we want to save as much food as we possibly can, because it's just getting hard to find certain foods and hard to afford them. So I'm going to start. A lot of people ask me, how much food should I save? So this bag of pasta, this is a 10-pound bag of pasta. It looks like a lot of pasta, doesn't it? Well, if you break it down, this is what I say, break it down, half a pound of pasta is 2 cups. Now these are different shapes, but the weight, I weighed it out. This is half a pound of pasta, and it equals 2 cups. This would only, and this is not a whole lot, depending on how big your family is. So if you were making a soup, this is how much you would put into your soup to stretch your pasta. If you were in a grid down situation and the food chain is broken. So this is half a pound, which is 2 cups, and it's not a lot of pasta. People are used to probably eating that in one meal. And you would have 20 meals out of this 10-pound bag if you were going by weight. So I say you figure out how long you want to prepare for. Say if it was a year, I would probably put 12 of these bags, 1 per month away, so that you would at least have that much pasta put away. And this visual is kind of sobering to see that it's not that much. I mean, whether there's 2 people in your household or 10, that is what you would get. So that is how you figure out how much food. You divide it up between into pounds or measurements of weight, or amounts like cups. So another reason why is space. I dehydrate tomatoes, and this tomato can is a number 10 can of tomatoes, and it takes up a lot of room. So even if you just had 1 per month, that would be 12 cans, and that's a lot of space to dedicate. But I dehydrated the tomato sauce, and it compacts into such a small amount. And when you rehydrate it, I can just throw, if I'm making soup or some of the pasta and I want to throw this in, I would rehydrate that and put it in. You have control over the amounts of food that you have. If you don't have refrigeration and you open this can, you have to keep it cold or use it all. This way you can use the amount of food that you want, and the rest of it doesn't go bad. So not long ago, Oregon had a power outage, and some relatives called my sister and said, our power's out, and we weren't warned. Oregon said that they sold their power to California, and they cut the power and this part of the family didn't have warning. So they were without power, and it was 36 hours, and they were panicking. They didn't know how long it was going to be. But if they had known some of the off-grid techniques, they could have started saving their food by dehydration, and then that takes some of the worry out. And during Hurricane Ian, I read an article in the newspaper. A family had all their preparation ready. They had their pool was filled with water, and they used it to flush their toilets. They had food and water. But after it was over, they said they did not realize how exhausting it was. And that was only 3 days. So they were prepared, but not mentally prepared. And they weren't quite as prepared as they needed to be. So with dehydrated meals, you don't have to worry so much about thinking if you're in crisis. And if you add these things into your daily routine, it's not a stretch when a crisis should happen, or you're without food or power.